All right. So, okay, we have a little bit of knowledge now. And let's do this from start to finish. Just kind of check out a new coffee bean and figure out how we're going to approach this brew. All right. So I went to Idong-u, which is my favorite coffee shop in Korea. And let's see, what did I get? I got a Honduras. All right. So that maybe gives me some idea if I'm familiar with, how the different countries taste and whatnot. But I really want to look at elevation to see how I'm going to approach this brew. It says 1,400 meters. Okay, that is in the low 4,000s of feet, low 4,000 feet. So I can expect it to be a fairly dense bean. Let's say I generally only deal with, let's say, medium roast to light roast. Yeah, let's say in that range. So on the density scale, I'd say it's going to be somewhere a little bit more on the dense side than on the porous side, if that makes sense. Okay, so I would give it maybe probably a 7 if it's on the borderline light medium roast, something like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, it has tasting notes on here. Maybe I can get some ideas from that. All right, it says dark cherry. It says it's got floral notes. Was it gamgul? What's gamgul? Citrus, orange, tangerine. Okay, like that. Sago, apple. It's got hazelnut and chocolate. Okay, so hazelnut and chocolate, you'd expect more of that in like a medium roast. Apple, cherry, tangerine. It also says candy. Okay, so you'd expect more of that from a light roast. So I think the tasting notes probably come from before it reaches the actual roaster. This is more like the importer who makes these tasting notes. So if it's a light roast, I can expect probably the candy and the tangerine. If it's more of a medium roast, I'll guess it'll be more on the hazelnut chocolate end. So let's take a look. Actually, I'm going to measure out 20 grams. Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right. That's a... Okay, that was a big bean. Let's take one out. Okay, it's right at 20 grams. Okay. Now, just looking at these beans, they look like they're medium roast. More on the medium roast side. Yeah, pretty solidly in the medium roast. So they're larger beans than usual. I don't know if you'll be able to really tell. Larger beans than usual. That might just be the varietal, or it could be the fact that in the roasting process, the further you go on, the larger the beans get. So I can expect these to be maybe a little bit more porous. More on the hazelnutty, chocolatey side, I would guess. So anyway, but they won't be as dense. So let's adjust the grind. Okay, I'm going to do a V60. Now, V60 I'll do for light roast for sure. Medium roasts, it's a toss-up. It depends. I'll usually test a V60 and the Clever, my other brewer, and see which one gets the better flavor from the bean. But anyway, I'm going to start with the V60 this time. Now, my V60 range in this grinder is between 12 and, let's say, 13.2, 13.4, something like that. Since this is medium roast, but it's in its kind of moderate elevation, I'm going to put it more toward, like, let's say 12.8, something like that. All right. Actually, it's already at 12.8, so we're all good. Put my beans in. These are really large beans. Okay. Give it a grind. Now, just feeling this, it's actually more denser than I thought it would be. But I think this will be pretty close, pretty accurate. So I'm hoping to get, yeah, like the hazelnutty, chocolatey. Hey, you know, if I can get some apple notes and tangerine, that would be cool. All right, the water's boiled. Now I got to bring that over here, and I'm going to wet the filter. Okay. All right, pour that water out. Put the grinds in. I got my timer set for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. You know. Now I'm going to shoot for a volume, let's see, let's say of around 320 grams, because I'm going to do somewhere in the middle, yeah, like 320 grams for the 20 grams of coffee in there. All right, middle of the road ratio. And just kind of give it a go and see how it works. Okay, so boom, that's all settled. I'm going to do a little bit of a well, why not? Start our timer. And bloom. I just kind of go back and forth until all the grinds are soaked and let it sit. So there's 40 grams of water. And I'm going to let this bloom for probably, about a minute. Some people do 30 seconds. I'd say 45 to a minute is pretty good. And then after that, I think what I'll do is I'll just pour pretty evenly. I'm not going to do too much agitation. It's not a light roast bean, so I'm not going to be like, you know, going all over the place like, nah, I'll just kind of do a steady pour. We'll wait 5 more seconds. There we go. I just kind of want to go smooth and steady. Okay, now everything's wet, so I'm just going to pour. Nice and steady. I kind of want to reach that 320 mark. Maybe 30 seconds before the brew should be finished. I want the brew to be about 3.5 minutes. So right now I'm at about 220 grams. Usually I use the brew timer app, but I'm not because it's on the phone and I'm recording with my phone. So I'm just kind of eyeing it today, winging it. All right, I got 1 minute and 42. I'm already at 290 grams. So I'm going to slow down just a little bit. And there's 320 with a 1 minute and 30 left. Okay, I'm going to swirl it around. I think this is going to be a really fast brew. So I think I'll have to find this up in the future. I'm almost certainly pouring too fast too, which will, create more weight. The volume of water, the mass of water will create more weight than it'll force it through faster. So if I had poured slower, I'd be in a lot better shape right now. But, And the brew just ended. Okay. Okay, so the 45 seconds left from what I wanted to do. So that would be, let's see, a total of 2 minutes and 45 seconds for the brew. But that's still okay. I mean, anyway, it's still okay. So I'm going to, I'm going to put this in the sink. Okay. Typically, I'd wait for a couple minutes, let it sit, do something else, or do nothing. But just breathe and relax and enjoy the sounds. But I'll, whoop, there's the, but this time I'll take a sip and tell you what I think. Now the flavor will change over time. So this is not the truest flavor, but anyway, I'll have an idea. Oof. All right, I missed the mark by quite a bit. Okay, it's under extracted. It's sour. It's got that. It's just yeah, underdeveloped. Tastes almost grassy, sour. Just no real character. No typical coffee flavor of any kind. So what would I do to change that in the future next time? I would. Let me think. What would I do? Definitely find the grind. Now, actually, I let the hot water sit for a little while I was making the beginning of this video. I wouldn't do that next time. So the water would be a little bit hotter. I'll do a finer grind. Let's say I'm at a 12.8 right now. You know, I'll probably do something closer to like a 12.4. Actually, maybe a 12.2. Because that went really fast. That went through so fast. So maybe I misjudged these beans. Yeah, anyway. Jaggy. So, yeah, but that's basically kind of how I approach these things. And then you just taste. You just have a taste. And you try to gauge where you're at. If it's pretty sour, you're going to have to make a fairly large adjustment. If it's a little bit sour, make a small adjustment, you know? If it's bitter, you know, coarsen it up. If it's really bitter, then really coarsen it up and maybe lower the temperature too. Then you're probably dealing with a more of like a darker roast if you're over extracting like that. But anyway, hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, this is how I kind of approach new beans. That's it. Thank you.